Now this is exercise number 5 from your exercise sheet. This is a supine thoracic motion. There are several exercises that you can perform on your Dynadjust. The first one I want to talk about is just an ordinary, pretty much P to A drop. You always want to cross the patient's arms in front of her to give you a little extra fulcrum. Also, by pressing here, it actually helps to bring the spine forward and separate those facets. Now, of course, the facets in the thoracic spine exist pretty much in the coronal plane. So these facets are pretty much just like so in this plane, or the semi-coronal plane. So the goal here is to adjust the facets in the motor segments and sometimes even the ribs. So if I just wanted to do an ordinary A to P drop, I would roll the patient over just a little bit, place my hand under the segment. I like to use my thenar eminence here because it's the fleshy part. A lot of people like to cover their hand with something soft to do this, and there are actually some devices out there that are pretty handy which you use instead of your hand, and you might want to look into those. I don't remember what it's called right now, but it's pretty commonly available in the trade journals. So here we're just going to contact those SPs in the joint we want to find. I'm going to put the SPs literally right through here in my hand, and if there's one side that feels high, as if the rib was a little high there, I might want to contact that just a little more deeply than I do on the other side. So in this case, the adjustment is almost a pure body drop. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and perform an actual adjustment here. So pressure in and straight body drop like so. Now, for the sake of speed here, this adjustment would look something like this. Simply placing the Dynadjust device near your solar plexus with your hand underneath it, just about like so. Lean in, get that cue to thrust, and try to perform a straight body drop with very little wobble or rotation. Now, if we want to induce flexion into a thoracic segment, we're going to want to very carefully grasp the neck, be super gentle just in case she has neck or shoulder problems, roll her into position, place her elbows in your chest, and this time, since we want to induce flexion, our tissue pull is going to be from inferior to superior. Get a nice tight tissue pull until you find that segment that you're looking for, and then drop, just like so. Now this exercise can be enhanced by placing around 15 or 20 pounds of pressure by stretching your exercise tubing like so. Then the instrument goes in that hand, the elbows are here, the other hand goes here, slide in and drop. Let's position Angie into flexion for a supine thoracic flexion mobilization.
Sure.
Just show me what you do with that one.
Just cross your arms like this.
Good.
And I'm going to roll you over.
Okay.
Lift your head up for me. There you go. So just like this.
Very good. So you want to be sure that you're holding the patient into flexion, and that way your line of drive only needs to be pretty much straight down. Isn't that right?
Yep.
That way the patient's already going to be partially mobilized into flexion when you make your adjustment, and it shouldn't take nearly as much force or depth to move that vertebra into flexion, right? And you can tell that she's, you can feel the weight in your left arm. You have to hold her there.
Yeah.
You have to make sure that your hand is positioned over the vertebra that you're looking for, right? And then you also have to make sure that you do a nice clean drop straight down, right? A nice body drop.
Exactly.
Okay, well let's see what that looks like with the Dynadjust.
Okay.
Now to simulate what you just did with that thoracic flexion maneuver, I need you to get into position roughly like you were with Angie, okay? And then we're going to use our exercise tubing again. Just put your wrist through there so that it's up to about here. Okay.
There we go.
And that sort of simulates cradling her head, right? That one's a little bit tight, but I think you can handle it. And then, of course, we're going to put the Dynadjust approximately here. Actually, let's move it up to here because that fits you a little bit better. And then this is going to go over your chest because this hand, remember, is underneath.
Oh, okay, sure.
So the Dynadjust actually goes into the chest right there, just as her elbows were. Remember, her elbows are right there. And then ease in until you hear the beep, and then drop. Let's try it again. Ease down, Perfect. Now, in this quick run through, the last thing I want to show you is if you wanted to induce extension into a thoracic segment, it's basically the very same thing, only this time the tissue pull is going to be from superior to inferior, and you might even put a little extra pressure on the lower aspect of the segment that you're looking to affect your adjustment to. So superior to inferior tissue pull, but you do want to get a little higher. See, I'm coming a little bit higher. My chest is higher than my hand, and drop. So again, since the exercise is to simulate inducing extension, hold the instrument in your hand here, get above it like this, slide in, and drop. Watch your posture. Make sure that you keep your back straight. Your legs should be bent at the knees. Protect your lower back throughout these exercises.